Okay, and then there's 4 really cool things that we found out about Australia. We said, okay, if we're going to go to Australia, we need to talk the Australian language, and having been here and being part of the sort of the history of technology. And by the way, in this room, I want you to know, there are some of the original founders and original angels of all time. Bob, put your hand up, say hi. Randall Straw over here was the Victorian government, helped actually create the technology world. Randall, put your hand up. And there's a number of other people here. So if you don't already know, there's some legends in this. And here's what happened. For the most part, what happened was regional category kings kind of emerged. And this is the industry that these folks helped create. It started off as a $0 billion marketplace back in 1994, and it is today about a $20 billion market. And these companies, everything from CompuShare to MyOb to REA, carsales.com, what they did was they said, hey, there's this really cool thing happening around the world where you put sales online, you sell them, let's do that for Australia. Very successful business model. Very, very successful business model. And many of those companies, and here they are here, NextGen, Menulog, What If, iProperty, all these companies did that and then got acquired by other companies that were global category kings to fill in the Australian marketplace. So these legendary entrepreneurs figured out that they could adapt a global category for the Australian marketplace, created immense value, as you can see, and our hats are off to everyone in the room that was sort of part of that. We really salute you guys. But then something happened, and I was a part of this, and so was John and a few other people in the room actually, who were from Quokka. Put your hands up, those people who actually were at Quokka Sports. Here we go, Rob Begg, you'll see him over here. Well, there was a little blip on the radar back here in the 97, 98, 99 period, LookSmart, Evan with LookSmart and Quokka Sports, and there's a couple of others. And it was really the first attempt by an Australian company to be truly global. Went to Silicon Valley, raised money, went public, did all that stuff. But the really exciting thing is actually the recent times, the first truly global category king called Atlassian actually came out of Australia. Really exciting for all of the entrepreneurs here, because it showed, in this particular case, $6 billion market cap got created by a group of people from Australia. And what's most exciting, and that's what we're going to start talking about here in a little bit, and having met a number of you, is it feels like a real renaissance in this city and in Sydney from the folks I've talked with. It feels like there's a breed or a generation of entrepreneurs who are really embracing kind of the global first mentality and creating companies that really do address a global marketplace. And there's a bunch of them, and in fact, we've got some of these folks on the panel. In fact, Didier from Culture Amp, one of the hottest companies in Australia, is going to be with us to talk about his company in just a moment. There's a bunch of other ones. And these are companies that are creating the category as opposed to adapting it, which is a super exciting time for these organizations. And the final thing is, and you've got some folks who are going to be on the panel in just a moment, some of the best VCs and incubators from this part of the world are going to join us for a conversation. And all of that energy is now being fueled by experienced venture funding as opposed to private equity or any of the other forms of investments that really don't work for this kind of a marketplace. And this is venture capital investments by Australian-based VCs in Australian companies. And if you look at this, this is real growth. We're really seeing Australian VCs making investments in this part of the world. So the thing that, in addition to building an incredibly good product and building a great company, these companies now have to take responsibility for creating a category. They have to create the equivalent of CRM or a social network or an advertising platform. And that's the challenge now that Didier and all of the folks from his generation really do have. They've got to do that from Australia on behalf of the world, as opposed to taking something that's been adapted. By doing that, to do that, they really need to practice this thing, which we call category design, which is a topic of the book that we wrote called Play Bigger.